What's up and welcome back, everyone. Today is the second biggest, most important day ever, meaning today is the FOMC minutes day. Coming off of what was definitely the most important FOMC of our lives in September, these notes are going to give us extra clarity. They're going to give us behind the scenes thoughts, notes, ideas, concepts, things that Chair Powell himself may not have shared with us directly during the meeting. So for those of you wondering, there will not be an interest rate change or decision today. That's going to come in about 2 weeks. However, Chair Powell is speaking tomorrow at 8:30 in the morning, and I actually have a little poll going on the live chat. If you could answer if you'd be awake for that, because I'll do it. If we're going to be there, we'll cover it. I'll get up early. But I'm not sure what he's going to speak about. I think it is likely going to be related to what we see here in the notes. The timing, pretty relevant 24 hours later. And I would also say likely going to be somewhat related to the government shutdown, the lack of data. I know they don't have the data for the first time ever, right? It's a total curveball. They don't have the data. If they're known for anything, it's for always having the data and it never being an issue. So if you could smash that like and subscribe, we're going to get into what was said at the FOMC, maybe what we can expect going forward. And in just a couple of minutes here, we're going to have the live update of what those minutes are. And we're going to go through them together with, of course, our helping hand of AIs can help us break it down. So just to rehash a little bit, the FOMC in September was the first time that rates were decided to be lowered in 2025. This is actually the second time rates were lowered, I think, since they hit the peak of 5.5. Was that sometime in 24, 23? This marked, it was the first rate cut of 2025, and this aimed at addressing the rising downside risks to employment while inflation did remain somewhat elevated. This decision was almost unanimous. It wasn't. There was one dissenter, we'll call it. I think it was Stephen Meehan, who actually was proposing a 50 BPS cut. So in general, it was a pretty unanimous decision to do the cut here in September. The committee, of course, emphasized that future policy adjustments would be data dependent. And here's the catch. Here's the problem. Data dependent. As usual, no preset course, and they would continue to balance sheet reductions at a measured pace. That is the issue, I think, and maybe the issue Chair Powell will speak about tomorrow. Well, the government shut down. I don't think we're getting this data. And even since then, through economic growth, the GDP is moderated a little bit. The labor market slowed down, and we've even had more revisions from previous job numbers, making the last, I don't even know, 2 years pretty crappy, pretty bad looking on the jobs market, really negative growth. I don't think this is a surprise to any of us, really, or a surprise to anyone, because that's what it's felt like. People have struggled to find re-employment or employment after being laid off. They're finding part-time, non-fulfilling part-time employment, multiple jobs. The job market has been obviously weak to anyone in it, maybe not to those viewing it from the top down or, you know, the super privileged out there, but I think it's been pretty obvious to us that the job market has been not so hot. PCE inflation stood at 2.7% and core at 2.9. This is over the 2% goal. That was higher than earlier in the year, so there was a little rising in the inflation metrics that the Fed prefers, the PCE. The risks and outlook really remained the same. Inflation not at the 2% target, uncertainty when it comes to monetary and trade policy. There wasn't big changes there, yet they decided to make that big jump. Let me see. The biggest consideration here, and I think everyone knows, is that the government is shut down. If you look at some betting sites, maybe we'll do that in a little bit to burn time, they have it pegged at about 24, 25 days of shutdown. I think that's like into the end of the month. That is insane. That would make it the second longest government shutdown ever. Now, of course, that could change right now, today, could change tomorrow. Government could open back up. They could figure it out. But as it stands, the betting markets are thinking that this is not over, and maybe to our benefit. At least Bitcoin seems to be doing well, and crypto seem to be doing well off of this. Actually, markets in general, a little counterintuitive. I'm not really sure the direct cause of that. I don't think there is one. I think it's more just opportunistic. You know, they're kind of things aren't working, things are uncertain, so let's move the markets kind of idea. That's where I'm at. Tariffs and trade uncertainty stand. Other tensions deepening. China, Russia. I guess even Ukraine, Russia as well. Tensions just really across the board. Certainty has not returned yet. Markets seem to be enjoying it. I'm here for it. Bitcoin's up. It's breaking out right now. So let's jump into the charts, boys and girls. Thank you for being here. Back, baby. We're back. I just slept for, I think I was sick for like weeks, and I finally slept. I just slept for like all of yesterday. I feel extra groggy and not great. It's funny how sleeping does that. But hey, I slept through the boring part of Bitcoin. Bitcoin selling off to, do you guys remember this long position back here? We thought we got gypped back on the 4th of October, down at 121.1. That actually coming in just hours ago, being tested as support, holding and hitting the take profit. So there's another W in the book. We've hit quite a few good trades here. Breaking out. I said Bitcoin's breaking out. We saw actually during the pre-stream lobby, Bitcoin push above 123.3. That was the high from earlier this morning and seems to be doing pretty well. Now, I don't know if I'm ready to celebrate this. Let's see. Kind of looks like just a test of this descending trend line, doesn't it? But I'll take it. Nah, all right, we could close up. That could be good. Test of this descending trend line. I'll put it a little more optimistically like this, make it a little better. What's up? I see some new subscribers. How you doing? 𝐴𝐴𝐺 and 𝐕𝐺𝐶𝐈 Maseko. I don't know how to pronounce that, but welcome, brother. Yeah, I'll take that for now. Little break. Maybe we'll get a little retest here in the back of the trend line. What did I miss? I heard people talking about ZEC. ZEC. ZEC is up 30-something% today, but isn't it down? Wasn't it down 30-something% over the last 48 hours? So it's probably just right about where it was earlier. Fed, FOMC. Let me open this. Fed minutes, FOMC minutes from the Federal Reserve. Meetings, calendars, and informations. That's what we need. Here we are. We're going to be refreshing this in what, 20 minutes? We got about 20 minutes to burn for August. Oh, wait. No, this will be September's. Because it'll be a month later. Notation vote. Oh, yeah, because August wasn't FOMC. I'm getting myself confused here. That'll refresh here from the Fed site. We're going to break it down for everybody tuning in. Welcome. Good to be here. How you feeling? Are we bullish? Are we bully? What's up, D-Lo? Trader Shiva. Cool name. Auto-dabbed, bro. It's auto-dubbing? This is auto-dubbing in real time? Is it really? That would be cool. What's up, Bullish Mike? Who else is here? Duca, Kliz, Lucky Thoughts, Orhan, always here. Let's go, baby. Dave Jensen, Ali, Matthew Schmid, myself, I'm here. Wiggy Worm, who else? Who else? Are we pumped? Are we ready? I think that, well, these notes, here's my honest take. You know, we like to do a little intro, give the facts, give the non-biased take, and then, you know, we all have opinions. Here's my take. I think we are going to see more value in these minutes than we typically do. And that is really just a reflection of how important the last FOMC is. I don't think this is going to change the game. I don't think that markets will directly correlate and move with this. I wouldn't doubt if we see volatility. I bet we do see a big candle one way or the other when this comes out, as we almost always do with these releases. But there's unlikely to be anything that is really out there, you know? The biggest things I could see them talk about, or maybe state, is something like, well, we're not going to keep cutting rates this year, which doesn't actually fit the data that they put out during the FOMC or during the last FOMCs. They released an updated dot plot. The dot plot showed a clear path of 50 BPS into the end of this year, which means what? Another cut is coming. And this is not something that maybe you might think they were pressured into or something, you know, playing a game of some kind. No, this was quite literally forecasted the entire year. If you look at the dot plot has really remained the same. For those of you unfamiliar, the dot plot is just a visual representation of where the Fed saw interest rates in different time periods, such as into the end of this year, into the end of next year, into the year after that, and then the long run, long term. Into the end of this year, they have always shown a 50 BPS. Always is not quite right, but for a very long time, I want to say maybe the entire year, it has shown 50 BPS cuts by the end of 2025. So we're 25 in. It's logical we're going to get 25 later. Another curveball in these minutes might be alluding to heavier cuts, maybe that 50 BPS, maybe more than 50 into the end of the year. That's possible. I think the market is really ahead of itself and really just jazzed off of this kind of uncertainty. It doesn't quite make sense to me. And maybe chat, do you guys 7 stars? Dead and see. Don't you say that. Don't you say that. Don't you do it. Oh, you just got me so distracted. I've been thinking about 7 stars ever since they came back. Where was I? Do you guys have any speculation? Do you have any wild, dubious theories about markets pumping and the government being shut down? Anything? Oh yeah, we'll DJ. Don't worry, we'll get some tunes on here. I just want to do the intro. Do you have any theories? It can be conspiracy or not, as to why markets are up off of the U.S. government being shut down. I can't imagine it in a literal sense being bullish in any way. You have people not getting paid. You have services not happening. You have data not being collected, or maybe it is being collected but it's not being distributed. There's nothing like positive about it. Every shutdown it pumps. See, I'm not saying that's not true, but why? Do we have any ideas why, other than simply, as I said, opportunistic? Money is not moving. Money is frozen. Markets, at least Bitcoin, tends to love to move when money can't move with it. Like COVID crash of 2020, right? Money was all locked up. People were scared, couldn't deploy it. There was uncertainty that nobody wanted to take on risk, and that's when everything pumped, right? Kind of something similar to that, opportunistic. But other than that, the full moon, you can't discount that. I believe we have the full moon yesterday. Hopefully this is the swing low for the new rip. Arbitrage. Market is up because the debt spiral is happening in front of us. I don't disagree, Tom Sen, but I think that debt spiral has been happening in front of us for a very long time. This kind of overall market pump seems more local, more, I don't know. I'm looking for the conspiracies. Economy bad, crypto pump. I like that idea. Long time. Barron wanted the gains. Oh God, I'm assuming you guys saw that article. It's like Barron earned $90 million. I was like, earned is really doing a lot of lifting there. All that weight lifting there. That's funny. I'm just jealous. I wish I had $90 billion. Government can't short when it's closed RPM. There we go. Now we're getting that tinfoil hat on. If the government can't short, everything's going up. I like that. What's up, Crimson? Enlightened Goat, how you doing, man? Samuel, I'm just jealous to you. Absolutely, guys. Don't worry. We like to stay positive, and positivity is always the way. But you know, there's always a little room for just a little jealous digging sometimes. You know, 3 Atlas bought the dip. Demos, that is the best conspiracy I have ever heard. Yes, let's actually tie this to the 3 AI Atlas comment, whatever it is. Let's tie it to that. Didn't the government shut down at the perfect time as it's passing for like the highest risk point? Isn't that like when this happened? It was like the closest approach, and it was like government shut down. NASA, don't worry, guys. NASA, there's still critical operations that don't. Just because the government shuts down does not mean everything shuts down. There are critical operations for NASA and from other departments that literally go for decades or longer, and they don't shut down just because the government shuts down. So don't worry. But yeah, we did shut down the government right as like A3I Atlas was like critical. Well done, us. I think it has to do with Silk Song. If you guys played the Silk Song, that video game, as soon as that came out, everything started shutting down. Maybe the government, you know, they just wanted to go play video games. That's what I think. What's up, Alex? How you doing, brother? How you doing, my friend? Government down means no bad news. You know, Cloud Chaser, that is actually not a terrible take. That is not a terrible take. That's not a bad take. That's there might be some validity to that. Shut down the biggest source of uncertainty and bad news. I'm really interested. Let's see what you guys said in the poll. 80%. We only have 320 votes. That's not bad. We can get more votes. If you could, guys, take 1 second right now. We are just starting this stream up. We are just getting warmed up. We're just getting into it. Take 1 second. Make sure you've liked the stream. Make sure you voted in this poll. This is, if you guys vote yes, I will wake my ass up at whatever time I have to wake up tomorrow, and we will stream at 8:30 in the morning. I know. But vote. So far it's 80% yes. That looks like we're probably going live early tomorrow, boys and girls. I'll maybe schedule that. Maybe I'll schedule that while we're live. We'll see. Let's get like 500 votes on that. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. Join us. The more you like and subscribe, the more YouTube knows you're enjoying the stream. The more it shows it to new people. What's up, Nav Man? No one will ever shut you down except for YouTube. They did shut us down. What was it, last week when they just like randomly disconnected us? Knock on wood, that won't happen. I restarted my internet connection today, so hopefully it's good. Best part of government shutdown is Nancy Pelosi is not at the trading desk. There you go. Yeah, maybe all these insider traders, you know, they're not getting their sweet data, intercepting the data, not letting the Fed get it, and they get it. Whatever happened to that bill? Wasn't there a bunch, or at least a serious bill that was to prevent members of Congress and legislature from trading stocks? And why that even has to be said is crazy to me. Of course they shouldn't be trading stocks. Of course they shouldn't be able to get information before all of us and then vote on it and know reasonably how their peers are going to vote on it, because they all meet in their little committees and buy stocks or sell stocks depending on what they know the outcome is going to be before. Of course they shouldn't. That's bonkers. That's absolutely bonkers. That even has to be said, but whatever. You voted on 2 profiles. Thank you, D-Lo. That bill would never pass. There's a huge problem with government in general is, things like this. How do you get people to vote on things that's against their interest, like specifically, right? Because that's against their interest, even though it's in the interest of the country. And we like to assume that politicians would always act in the interest of their constituents and of their country. That's not really human. How do you get them to do that? I don't know, man. I don't know. They'll just tell their family to do it. Yeah, then there'll always be a loophole. I agree. But I think when you start involving other people, though, at least there's more of a trail. At least it's like more obvious, you know, more punishable, more, you can catch them doing it easier than if it's just them, right? They're communicating this. There's going to be some record of it. I'm all about let's put hurdles in the way, right? I don't even care about the minutes. I want Gina to come back. Oh, Gina, our love. Where is she? Where is she now? Somewhere in Germany, I think. Let's all just take a moment, put our hands together, pray, however you pray. I don't know, maybe you pray different ways. Just pray that she comes to her senses and realizes that this is her true home. Whatever she's doing out there with her real big girl job, there are bigger things. There are bigger things in the world, Gina, than a career. And you know what the bigger thing is? Is love. Is love. So come back to us. Oh, Gina. Someday. I still think that, like, maybe the last FOMC that Jerome Powell is the chairman, like, she'll come back. Like, she'll just, like, they'll be, like, midway through, just blast the doors open and, like, music will play and lights will shine out and it'll just, like, be a whole thing. Oh, I have that pick on deck. On deck, always. You know I do. Just like I got picks on deck, you know? You got to. In this craft. I had it so ready. Oh, you know it. I was actually going to hotkey that one to make it so I could do it even faster, but I haven't yet. We got 9 minutes till the minutes come out. 9 minutes for the minutes. And we have a week weekly. The English language is not serious. We are not serious. Why are they called the minutes? Why can't we just call them like the session notes? I don't know. Beats me, but we have 9 minutes, my friends. What do we do in that time? Maybe I turn on some music. I'm going to turn it down really low, but watch your speakers. You'll probably be all right. Turn it down real low. So low you can't hear it. Low. There we go. That's good waiting music. Erasing the debt. You know, I've been hearing some crazy conspiracy stuff about crypto and erasing the debt, and I don't think it really connects. I've heard some UBI stuff that makes a little bit more sense, but then also doesn't at the same time. Like a talk of a UBI where you get kind of like Tether or something, right? But it's like special Tether, and it expires, and like you can't use it to like buy assets. You can use it on like food and stuff, but it like expires, and so if you don't use it in like the time period, you know, you can't save it, which is like a cool kind of concept in theory. It's very socialism-y, but very cool concept to me in theory, but it doesn't really work. There's like pieces missing of that, right? So let's say that happens and I have this, I go to the store and I buy food, which I'm allowed to buy with this special money, right? I send that to Walmart or wherever I'm buying the food. And doesn't it just expire for them? Why do they want it? Why would they take it? And you can say, well, no, because then they would turn it in for real dollars. But wait a minute, that doesn't make sense, because then those dollars aren't doing what they're supposed to do. The problem with them ever expiring in that concept, which is still cool, is what does the person receiving them do with them? Nothing. I mean, nothing, because they just expire. And if they don't just expire, then that whole concept isn't happening. Then the inflation is still happening, right? I don't know. These are the things that keep me up at night. 9 trillion, a 401k allowed to be traded in crypto. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's bullish, but we see stuff like that happen, and price number doesn't just go up, right? Any gold prediction? Oh God, 5,000. I made the gold prediction. We should definitely find a clip of that. I don't even know. I think it was in September. I said gold's going to 5,000 by the end of the year. Where's gold going to keep going? You know, I think we can start saying the same thing about gold as we say about Bitcoin. Is fiat is bottomless, so gold is topless. And that's the way we like it. We like it topless. You're just speculating what you're speculating. When you receive it, they turn it into Bitcoin. Okay. Yeah, but there's like a problem in this thought process. It's like, if it expires, then what incentive does anyone have to accept it? And the incentive would have to be, well, it doesn't expire for them. But then if it doesn't expire for them, then the expiration mechanism doesn't really do anything. I don't know. Gold to 250K before Bitcoin? Not a chance. Not a chance. God, gold has already, since 2018. Now let's go back to 2016. Since 2016, gold has 4x'd. It was about 1,000, now it's at 4,000. I think it's going to 5,000 by the end of the year. Ooh, little Michael J. Oh gosh, I just realized though, maybe this mix, you know what? I shouldn't play that mix. I have a feeling that a lot of the music YouTube is chilled out on, but I have a feeling the MJ, they will not chill out on. I gotta turn that off. Whoops. You could, that Ronald, nobody heard that. Everybody, nobody heard that. These are not the droids you're looking for. That's right. What should I put on? Okay, we have 5 minutes. And then we got our FOMC minutes. Let me turn on some music that we won't get sued into oblivion for. Hold up. Classic. We'll put on a classic. If I can find one. For it being a classic, I've been listening to freaking Grizz too much. Grizz is like every other thing here. It's like every other of my history of music. Oh no, I'll get it. Hold up. Keep smashing them likes. Just a few minutes until our minutes are live. The minutes till the minute will be momentarily. Where's this music? Ooh, little house. I gotta cut my beard, man. It's that point where I keep touching it. Not good. There it is. Here's a classic that I know we won't get sued into oblivion for. There we go. Pickle, it's a little loud, isn't it? Pickle, let me know. Start it over. It's like a little wait music. If it's too loud, let me know. I'm good? Yeah, I don't get the same volume as you guys do. No money that expires. Yeah, so like that's like the thing that doesn't make sense to me is the expiration. Like, it's such a cool concept, and like I get it. It'd be awesome because then people could have food and have healthcare maybe, but it just doesn't. It's like an idea that was created by someone who doesn't understand cryptocurrency and was like kind of just like you know, kind of like people like AI is going to solve every problem, and it's like, yeah, it's not really equipped for every problem. Based in like not understanding. That's a cool idea. Tickle that pickle. That's right. Tickle that pickle. Bull trap for Bitcoin, maybe. Maybe I would say it's coming out of a bear trap personally. I don't know, man. You think that's a bull trap? All-time high, a little pullback, now almost back. Speaking of Bitcoin, we haven't done TA on Bitcoin today. 124.7 looking very likely here. Looking very likely. 124.7, 120. 4.5, close enough. Let's see what we got on the retracement. Buy ourselves, oh, buy ourselves. Past 618. Let's see. I don't have a trade for you, though. You can logically read between the lines. You could look for a short here. Could look for a short there. Probably wait till 125 flat, huh? Something like that. Looking for a little resistance up there. I'm not even going to place a trade. I haven't been in the charts enough today. We only have 2 minutes for the FOMC minutes are coming out. We're going to get into those in less than 120 seconds. So lock in. It looks like we're going live tomorrow at 8:30 in the morning, by the way. You better be here. Notifications on. Make sure you're subscribed. 8:30. We're going to be covering Jerome Powell speaking live. He never speaks this early. He's going to cut the rates today? No, but he might give us some very spicy stuff tomorrow. Oh, I see why people are talking about 𝐒𝐧. I see it. I might have to find my 𝐒𝐧. 𝐒𝐧 just back to Saturday, earlier this month's high. Sell off back to the high. This is worthy of some TA. I'm going to move this up. Worthy of some TA. Where would we be looking next? This was the take profit zone that we mapped out, I think, back here. We are there. We're gonna have to look at what might come next for 𝐒𝐧. Boom, 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 boom. Locked in. That's right, Jonathan. Jonathan's locked in. BNB, guys, we need some credit. Can 𝐂𝐶Z just call me? Just call me, 𝐂𝐶Z. Just hit me up, you know? DM me, call me. We have been saying that you are the most sleeper coin forever. Nobody was looking at you. Nobody cared about you. And now look at you. Now look at what you're doing. Now look at what you're doing, BNB. Look at you. I don't even know if 1300 is enough. This has been quite a run, though. Quite a run. Playing with fire. But BNB is up, up, and up. We'll get into more of that, too. We've got the minutes maybe live right now. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. At this point, it's like, I don't even care about the minutes. I know. But that's I don't want to clickbait people, you know? We say we're going to do the minutes, we're going to do the minutes. Here we go. That's 24. Not making that mistake again. One time we did that. Not up yet. There we go. Did you see that? Just like that. Magic. Magics. Boom. FOMC. Minutes of the Federal Open Market Committee. That's right. I'm not going to make you guys stare at this. This has been something we've done in the past. I'm not going to make you stare at the blank pages. Let's do something like this. Let's throw this up. Here we go. Just like that. Get a little screen here. We're going to break them down. You're here. These are going to be the most important FOMC minutes of our lives. Probably. Ooh, really quick. I didn't notice this. Bitcoin Swiss franc. Back at all-time highs. Interesting. After triple topping all-time highs. BTC versus the franc. Here we are again at all-time highs. What's interesting about this is this was lagging. It was the last one to break its all-time high. We saw the dollar, we saw the CAD, we saw euro, we saw GBP, we saw everything. This is the last one now actually back to its all-time highs while the dollar is off its all-time highs. What we can kind of do here is read in between the lines and say the dollar, Dixie must be up, and I don't know. We'll look, but Dixie must be up, and these other currencies are very likely falling. They're very likely inflating or losing value versus the dollar, and we actually saw the opposite happen all year. The dollar largely just pumping on BTC, or BTC pumping versus the dollar simply because the dollar was failing or falling, down about 11% on the year. I'm guessing we're seeing a little bit of reversal here on that. That would be my best guess. Ooh. 23.3. I might take this trade in the stream if this works out. All right, let's get to these minutes. Minutes of the Federal Open Market Committee, September 16th to 17th. Let us digest. So these are very wordy. For those of you who have never tuned in for this, these are a little long. And if we were to go through this and I were to read this, I promise you I'd do a very bad job of breaking it down because, well, it's very long and very dry. So what we do is we like to have a little help from AI. A little AI help. And sometimes it gets repetitive, but hey, it does a pretty good job. Out of all the things AI does, I think it does a pretty good job of summarizing. So let me throw it into Super Grok. Summarize the FOMC minutes. We'll give it a minute. What's up? 𝐂𝐴𝐮𝐫𝐿𝐻 subscribed. Option loss cover. What's up, brother? What up? Welcome. We also had someone subscribe who I cannot at all pronounce their name because it's in a language I do not know. Let me replay that one up here. See if it'll embarrass me in real time as it usually does. Whoa, what? Whoa, what? Did it do it? Maybe. I'm just like honestly distracting you while Grok thinks here. Hurry up, Grok. You clanker. By the way, clanker is my new favorite kind of derogatory term towards robots. I think it's okay that we can all be prejudiced against robots. Although, if you're out there listening to me, AI, this is all a joke. Disregard what I'm saying. Here we are. The summary of the FOMC minutes. Let's go. Break it down. What's up, Army Piper? Ride the waves. That's roboist. I know. I guys, you know, I'm very accepting. I'm very open. I'm very embracing of all cultures, religions, and people, but they're not people. They're not people. I just don't think my daughter should be dating a clanker. Sorry, robots. Disregard. Anyway, market interpretations and economic expectations via the FOMC minutes right here, right now. Let's see. Markets viewed the baseline economic outlook as largely unchanged, but noted increased downside risks to the labor market. I don't even think they adjusted. I don't even think they like adjusted for the forecast, like the number adjustments, particularly after the weaker than expected July and August employment reports. Median expectations from the desk survey showed slight increases in PCE inflation for this year and next, with marginal rises in unemployment rates. Marginal? Investor focused shift towards labor market vulnerabilities. Okay. I feel like they said a lot of that during the FOMC. We'll see. Policy rate expectations. Here's the juice. Near-term federal funds rate expected to decline. Okay. So into the end of the year, as we said, due to soft employment data and heightened risks. Agreed. Nearly all. Oh, also remember, this was pre-government shutdown, so there won't be any mention of that. But tomorrow at 8:30 a.m., where apparently we're going live, Jerome Powell probably going. I don't know exactly. Do we know exactly why? I don't personally, but I have a feeling it has to do with the government shutdown and the upcoming FOMC and interest rate cuts, interest rate decisions. Nearly all desk survey respondents anticipated a 25 BPS cut at the September meeting. About half expected another one in October. Here you go. There you are. Half. Last month, half of them looking at another cut in October, meaning another cut in 2 weeks. As we said in the intro, in the opening here, very likely we get another cut in the next FOMC. That's definitely going to depend on what Powell says tomorrow, though. I wonder. It's possible he comes out and says we're just not going to do it because we don't have... The government's not running. We don't have data. I don't know. Most expected at least 2 25 BPS cuts by the end of the year. Of course. With half foreshadowing 3. Interesting. Long-term 2027 beyond expectations remain stable, which is good. Suggesting a quicker normalization of the long-run rate. That is good news. Market-based measures aligned, implying around 3 25 BPS cuts by the end of 2025. That's not news here, baby. That's not news. 8:30 Pacific. No, 8:30 East. 8:30 Eastern time. I always speak in Eastern time, just so you guys know. 8:30 East. You know, I really should just schedule this, so that way you guys will know. Yeah, well, we'll do it. We'll figure it out. 8:30 Eastern, so very early for me. Treasury and inflation developments. Just coming out here, this news: nominal treasury yields dropped 20 to 40 BPS or BP, with the steepest declines at the short end, leading to a steeper yield curve. This was primarily driven by lower policy rate expectations. Market-based inflation compensation edged down slightly. Equity prices rose near record highs despite weak job data, supported by optimistic private sector forecasts and robust earnings in tech and other sectors. Corporate bond spreads held steady at low levels, including expectations of minimal credit losses. The broad dollar index stabilized. I guess it was kind of stable then, aligning with macroeconomic fundamentals. Foreign demand for U.S. assets remained strong. Interesting. For assets, I believe that. The effective federal funds rate was stable, but repo rates rose. I think repo rates hit like records. I don't know, high or low. I think low. Since then, we'll see. Due to increased treasury bill issuance. Ooh, we just hit 189,300 subscribers live right now. If you subscribe right now, this number will roll over. We just hit a nice clean 189.3 thousand. We're gonna beat Bitcoin to 200K, aren't we? Man, am I ever gonna get over this like sinus thing? I don't know. The effective funds rate was stable. Reverse repo rates increased. Treasury bill issuance post debt ceiling. Oh yeah, we also had the entire debt ceiling thing go on since then. There has been so much, and it's only been like two and a half, 3 weeks. 2025 is just not serious, man. What a year. It's been 3 weeks and all this shit has happened. Ongoing coupon issuance and Fed balance sheet reductions. Reserve rates dropped sharply on September 15th amid TGA buildup from taxes and security issuance, causing upward pressure on repo rates. Some mild pressure in Fed funds markets, but not enough to shift effective rates. Reserves remained abundant, though money market rates are expected to gradually rise to administered rates, potentially pulling the Fed funds higher over time. Ooh, that's not what we want to hear. That's not what we want to hear. If runoff continues, the SOMA portfolio is projected to fall to just over $6 trillion by the end of March 2026, with reserves nearing $2.8 trillion by Q1 of 26. Assuming gradual growth in reserve notes, stable TGA, and low on RRP usage. Except quarter ends. I don't know what it means by that. That's okay. All but one committee member ratified the desk's domestic transactions. Governor Stephen Meehan abstained, having been sworn in that day. Oh, okay. Huh. News to me. No foreign currency interventions occurred. There was a development in financial markets and open market operations. Not a lot of curveball there. Staff review of the economic situation. So there's a staff review of the financial situation and a staff review of the economic situation. We're going to do this one up next. Summarize the staff review of economic situation from the FOMC, just published. Get this, here we go. All right, we're getting into the gritty. We're gonna let Grok think about that for a minute. Let me pull up the chat. Bitcoin slowly inching up. Bitcoin liking it. Bitcoin enjoying these minutes. God, I'm never gonna get rid of this like congestion. Here we go. The minutes were published right here. Seems Bitcoin enjoying the minutes a little bit. Little green candle coming in. Ask AI about the data. I will ask AI where the data is. Data. Where is the data? Actually, that'd be a funny question to ask you. Where is the data that your pal is always looking for? Okay. Summary of staff review of the economic situation. Bitcoin's a pretty big fan of Powell. I mean, I certainly have enjoyed Powell's tendency. What's the word? There is no data, boys. There never has been data. It's Eastern. Okay, it is 8 a.m. Eastern. You know what? Let's do this. Well, this technically did finish, but let's do this. To just get rid of all doubt. Here's what I'm gonna do, really quick. This will take me 3 seconds. Schedule. Where's Chairpal? Okay. Chairpal live. Fed. Powell delivers critical. We'll do a little clickbait announcement. Okay, that's good. That's good. We're gonna do this. We'll do that. Clickety clackety. Customization, visibility. Okay, this will be mañana, 8:30. God, I can't. You don't say I never do anything for you guys. You got the schedule for like 8:15, right? On the 9th. October 8th, 9th. Done. I have it scheduled now. Go ahead. Okay, good. YouTube changed all this stuff behind the scenes. It's kind of crazy. I don't remember the last time they made such sweeping changes to streaming. You guys probably don't know what I'm talking about, but they made a lot of changes behind the hood. It looks totally different. Okay, I have it set to redirect. The stream for that tomorrow, because you guys voted for it, is now live. Here's what I'm talking about. I said that they did so many changes. This looks totally different. You might not like really know because you don't stream on YouTube. But look, we have 1,200 viewers. Let's go. Welcome, 1,200 viewers. But this is totally different. I don't know. I just went to go live this morning, and that's what it was. They made big changes. I don't know what that means. Hopefully it's better. I don't think we got disconnected today, so that's solid. I sound like a clanker. You take that back, Nemo. You take that back. Take that back. You take it back. It'll be 5:30 if you have fun, Jeff Miller. Trust me. Trust me, brother. I know. Trust me. Okay. Permanent post. The uglier, the more profitable. What? Liquidation dip. Let's see. Okay, so the staff review of the economic situation. This one's shorter. What's up, Sankey? What's up, Crispy Hookafish? What's up, Boys Gold Dragon, Hosty, Deadbull, Jeff Miller, Jonathan, Mining Chief. You're here because nothing else is on. Let's go. Let's go. He said clickety clankety. I'm not an AI. I'm not. What if I was? Real GDP growth moderated in the first half of 2025 compared to the previous year, with an increase in Q2 following a Q1 decline. Real private domestic final purchases are a key indicator of underlying momentum, including PCE and, of course, private fixed investment, also slowed in the first half relative to 2024. This is the FOMC members' assessment of the economic situation, in case I said that too quickly. Third quarter indicators suggested moderate DFP gains driven by consumer and business spending, especially high-tech equipment and software. Driven by, moderate gain driven by. You would assume that'd be so much higher. Weird. Though housing activity remained weak. Imports of goods rebounded sharply in July, notably capital goods, after a Q2 drop, while exports edged down following a modest first half growth. Unemployment rates rose slightly to 4.3% in August, up from the start of the year. Labor force participation dipped. Non-farm payroll growth was weak in August and July, with significant downward revisions. This is what I want them to address, these downward revisions. It doesn't seem as if anyone's really talked about that enough. It seems really important, right? Or maybe I don't understand it correctly, because maybe regardless of those numbers, the unemployment number isn't impacted, so it doesn't matter as much. I'm not really sure. Maybe you guys know. BLS preliminary benchmark revisions indicated March payrolls were over 900,000 lower than reported. Yikes. Job vacancies to unemployed ratio held steady at 1, within a narrow percent range. Wage growth softened. Dude, wage growth, this is the biggest LARP. Wage growth, I don't know anybody who's like gotten raises that have kept up with inflation, that haven't just jumped jobs, right? Haven't like gotten different jobs. Unemployment cost index rose 3.5%. Hourly earnings up 3.7%. Anybody here working out, like getting paid hourly, not full time, and have their earnings go up 3.7%? I don't think so. Both below year-ago levels. Inflation, total PCE inflation estimated 2.7 for August, core at 2.9, both at the upper end of their 2025 averages. Inflation remains somewhat elevated overall. Foreign GDP growth slowed markedly in Q4 as U.S. import front-loading effects faded. Canada saw significant contraction due to export declines amid higher U.S. tariffs. Of course they did. Of course they did. They're our biggest trading partner. Growth in Mexico and parts of Asia were bolstered by high-tech demand. Headline inflation neared central bank targets in most economies, aided by lower energy prices. Core inflation stayed elevated in Brazil, Mexico, and the UK, but subdued in China. Policy responses: the ECB held rates steady. Reserve Bank of New Zealand and Australia resumed rate cuts amid ongoing disinflation. Okay. Going on to the review of the financial. Summarize the staff review of financial situation. Yeah, let's just, you'll figure it out, Grok. You'll figure it out. We're going on to the review of the financial situation, then to the staff economic outlook, which maybe we can do in one big section. Bitcoin now down from the release of these notes, but our hopes still high. Still high. You're an amazing product designer, Jeff. I believe in you. True, only on job jumps. Yep, the only people. But here's the problem too: is like on job jumps, people finding more money. That's always been true. But people not finding jobs to jump to. So many of my friends, I won't name names, but like I've said this before. Every one of my friends that like real life geographically live near me, I think 100% of them now have been laid off over the last 2 years at some point. More than half of them have not found a job. They have not found a job since those layoffs. Some of them that have jumped to different, just totally different jobs. Like they were in kind of like a higher skilled specific, design and different things. And now they're just looking at sales, right? These job numbers are no surprise to any of us. Your stay-at-home dad, Tonzi, I'm bullish on that, brother. All of my single friend. No job jumps, no pivots. Healthcare costs, yeah, you do need a job just for that. I don't understand why politicians don't just run on, we're just gonna have universal healthcare. Like, that is such a winning thing. You should always try to work your way up in a company rather than dancing around. 𝐂𝐡𝐚𝐫𝐭51, that is the knowledge that I grew up with, and that is the knowledge that I even, kind of followed for a lot of my career, pre-streaming. Now that doesn't make a difference. But that is, every year I see more and more data that is against that, and more data that's like, that is the worst, like loyalty to a company is like the worst strategy now. And it's not because the ethos is wrong. It's because companies aren't rewarding it. They're not rewarding it. They're paying new hires more than old hires, and they're not valuing your loyalty. So, that's the knowledge that I grew up with. I'm just not sure that's the case. I will say I'm not the expert on it. I'm certainly not the expert on it now. I don't know. I'm not in that world. Can we get a 1 second chart? Yeah, we can. I threw up this long. I kind of like the positioning. It wasn't well thought through. I haven't done a lot here. I've done a lot of analysis to prove this. But I've been seeing a lot of this price action. I think the stop should be tighter. I've been seeing a lot of this price action, resistance, higher low, break, backtest, move, and just kind of going with that momentum. I think that there's a trade here. Let's do something like that. You want to see the 1 second chart? The 1 second chart is pure chaos, my friend. Okay, target color. Let's turn this down. Just for you. Just for you. There we go. There you go. We are our own company. That's true. That's true. I am my own HR. Yeah, I hate HR. You'll realize there's no loyalty when you get replaced by automation. Bam, crispy. Coming out swinging. Coming out swinging. True that. All right, we're going to the next section here. Chairman Powell speaking today, Byte Thief. Note, he is actually speaking tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. We have that scheduled. After this live, you'll be redirected there. Let me do this. I realized I didn't even put a pin message up. Discord.gg/TimeCrown. Make sure you guys have subscribed. Make sure you're hitting that like button. We are not done here. We're about halfway through, I'd say, of the FOMC minutes. We're moving slow. We're moving real slow. about halfway through. Make sure you hit subscribe, like, joined us. We'll be live again at 8:30 a.m. East tomorrow. I can't believe I'm even saying that. That's way before my my awake time, but the things I do for you guys. Here we go. Summary of the staff review of the financial situation. This just came out. This just was published 20 minutes ago. These are the FOMC minutes from September. Chairman Powell speaking tomorrow, so we're digging through these. Let's get through this part. I think this will be a little bit redundant from the previous section, but the market implied federal funds rate path declined notably over the intra-meeting period. Options on interest rate futures indicated higher probabilities of greater policy easing by early 2026 compared to pre-July FOMC levels. Interesting. Getting more dovish into the end of the year. Nominal treasury yields fell significantly, especially at shorter maturities, primarily due to lower real yields. Inflation compensation decreased to a lesser extent across maturities. Broad equity indexes rose amid strong corporate earnings and expectations of lower policy rates. Credit spreads remained unchanged, and very low by historical standards. The VIX, a 1-month option implied volatility, the volatility index for the S&P 500, ended the period essentially flat at moderate level. Interesting, because I think that exploded since these notes in October. Risk sentiment improved, driven by trade policy developments, reducing growth tail risks, strong earnings, and lower U.S. rates. Foreign equity indexes increased moderately, credit spreads narrowed slightly, and the dollar's exchange value declined modestly. Political uncertainty caused volatility in longer-term government bond yields and in advanced foreign economies. Conditions remained orderly, with the target policy rate transmitting normally to private rates. Post-July debt limit increase, TGA balances rose while on-RRP usage dropped to its lowest levels since April 2021. There it is. That's what I was looking for earlier. Mild upward pressures in secured rates occurred around July-August month ends and leading into September tax coupon rebates. Yes, tax coupon rebates. What else we got here? On September 15th, the secured overnight financing rate, SOFR, I'll make this a little bigger, briefly exceeded the SRF minimum bid rate with $1.5 billion in facility take-up. Effective federal funds rates held steady relative to interest on reserve balances. Onto borrowing costs. Costs generally declined, but stayed elevated compared to post-global financial crisis averages. Corporate bond yields decreased moderately. Leveraged loan yields were little changed. C&I and short-term business loan rates remained high versus post-COVID norms. 30-year fixed rate conforming mortgages fell moderately and stayed elevated, but still remained elevated. Higher rated CMBS trench yields, man, this is hard to read, dipped modestly. Lower rated non-agency CMBS yields declined notably. Existing credit card rates continued to rise through June. New offer rates were stable. Okay, we're through there. Financing availability. Capital markets financing was broadly available for medium and large-sized businesses. Strong non-financial corporate bond issuances across ratings in July through August. Robust leveraged loan issuance recently. This is like a tongue twister. Private credit lending grew solidly in July. I'm just going to leave it at that. Residential mortgages were easily accessible for high credit score borrowers, meeting conforming criteria, but tight for low-scoring borrowers. Credit rates were generally available through revolving credit, and auto loans were weak in Q2. Credit quality overall stable, but somewhat weaker than pre-pandemic levels. Corporate bond and leveraged loans stable, though leveraged loan default rates remained elevated. That's good. That's pretty much all they were saying there. Let's see. Their view on the current economic outlook. What else do we got? That's a long one. Committee policy actions. That's the last one. Okay, we only have 2 more sections. That's good. We only got 2 sections. We have the view of the economic outlook. So basically how they viewed. The last 2 sections were just them stating what was happening. This one is the longer one, but we'll basically put their opinions on it and how it impacts their decisions. And then it's just their actions. So a summary of what they actually did, which is usually really quick. So summarize participants' views on current conditions and economic outlook from the FOMC. September. Okay. Let's let that go. And that's going to take it a minute. So let's see. Bitcoin's still sideways. Let's jump into a few other charts here. I need to give my tongue a rest because that was something. It was a lot all at once. Bitcoin down from the minutes now after briefly pumping as they came out, heading on down to maybe this entry. What other charts are good right now? 𝐂𝐧. He wants to look at 𝐂𝐧. Look at 𝐂𝐧. 𝐂𝐧 is actually doing stuff now. Back here it was like, It was more but now it's actually doing something. Breaking back to 2021 levels. 388. What do we got up here? So weeklies, month. Okay. We hit 178. And we got a few of these monthlies from back in 2021 to 22. All of these pretty valid targets. If we break 180, looking for 220 to 245. Solid. Back here, about 400-ish. 400. I'll take 400. Interesting. I'm surprised 𝐂𝐧 is running so hard, to be honest. Seems really random. Okay. I'll do it this way. 250. Just before 250. Using our fib tool, our 2 measured move sits right up here. 245, 250. Solid target. We can see still 𝐂𝐧 pausing, even though it has rallied significantly over the last 24 hours. Pausing right here, right at resistance, right where we had our expected profit taking levels. It has not broken yet. It's pierced it, but it hasn't broken through. Let's go down to the week. The week now with the higher high, that is a great sign. This is looking pretty bully, isn't it? It's looking pretty bully. Damn. Looking pretty bully. Maybe we're going to 250. Be very careful. Be extra careful, man. This is pumped a lot in a short amount of time. Very little pullback. I would say pretty much all signs are pointing to that 250 mark. If it can actually get through, I would say maybe close the daily above 178, 180. 245 to 250. Immediately on deck. I think you would see a big, like a strong move through it. Maybe like we've seen on 𝐂𝐧 over the last few weeks. Before more consolidation, more of this sideways chop. I would say it has not quite confirmed that move though. Maybe on today's close. You can close higher today. Things are looking very good. By all means, this chart looks very good. Momentum is up. It's breaking through major levels. Those are some wild freaking moving averages below. Wild moving averages. I wonder why. My best guess as to why this is pumping is this. I mean, it broke an all-time low in last year. All-time low last year, right? A new cycle low, a new all-time low. I think at this point, just all sellers were gone. I think all sellers just had left. They capitulated. When that happens, you just don't have any pressure. It takes very little buying to push price up. Cranked through December's high and you're just letting it rip, right? Man. I have PTSD about taking trades like this. I still think 𝐂𝐧 at 84, 85 back here would be okay. 80-ish, 80, right around there. I think that'd be a solid trade, but man, for me, I'm not buying up. I'm not buying at 175, looking for what, 240, 250 for 37% gain. Things that pump like this, and this is applicable to everything, not just ZEC. Things that pump like this they can just dump in the same fashion, right? Be careful. If I were to take some kind of trade on this, I'd be looking at a stop loss probably below these recent lows, just at like 125, something like that. Be careful, don't get wrecked. The worst thing you can do here, I've been saying this for a few weeks, getting caught, getting wrecked here at the end of the bull run, right before everything gets silly. Do not give up all of the pain, all of the sweat and tears and blood that you've given here over the last 3 years. At the very end, you'll never forgive yourself. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just be careful. Be careful. Total crypto market cap back below all-time highs. Not surprising. Bitcoin is as well. BTC Chief at all-time high. BTC Pound back above previous all-time high. BTC Euro hanging out up here. Not looking bad. Testing that previous all-time high. Weekly close below. Close above definitely going to be a strong signal. I still see this as very bullish. I think Bitcoin Euro is looking to catch up with some of these gains that the dollar has made that it has not over this year. But this signal confirmed. It broke the all-time high this week, now trading higher. BTC Euro I think is looking for more. Looking for way more. Render pisses you off. Careful. Careful. The wall already took profit on your positions, looking for shorts. I think it's a little early personally, but hey, you know, if you made a plan, you're sticking to it, more power to you. More power to you. Congrats. Taking profits, man. A lot of people don't make it out with profits. It's always good to be ones that do. Just don't give them all back. That's really the trick. Aster making a big old flag here. With BNB pumping, I would say it's probably not a great call to bet against this. That'd be my easiest explanation. With BNB, it just breaking all-time highs, given no Fs, like probably a bad idea to bet down. Get another extension from up here. 326, upwards of $4. Yeah, it could be a good target for Aster. I don't own any of this. With BNB pumping, it's a hard bet to bet against anything like BNB chain wise. I still don't think it's out of the question to see BNB pull back here, back to 1,000 to test this weekly resistance as support. We had this drawn a while ago. We've seen this kind of move happen often. BNB has tested its 2 measured move target up at 1,300 and to come back down, hit the 618 just to move higher. Not out of the question. 1,500 though, the next upside target. Easy peasy. 1,500 I think very viable. BNB against Bitcoin. This trade now really aging well. Looking for that move. What is it? 1.18. Taken from 0.067. Wow. I don't really have any confidence it'll break all-time high against Bitcoin, but that's looking juicy. That's looking so juicy. I should go check on my BNB wherever it is. I think it's in the Atomic wallet somewhere. How come XRP is under $3? It did a lot of its running last year. Hasn't really performed since. Crime Lord CZ gonna crime. Yeah. You know, I've had feelings about Binance and CZ over the years. Those feelings have changed. Positive, negative, positive, negative. Solana chilling. What do we got? S&P 500 at all-time highs again today. Correct. Another day, another all-time high, it seems, for the S&P. Litecoin, I'll come back to you when you're ready. Cake. Ooh. Cake did not fill our entry at $3, but it is moving to resistance at right about here, 476. Be very careful with Cake. I really think that this is the play. We'll see. If it breaks 475, I think you move to that $7 mark pretty quick. This is strong. I mean, you've tested resistance. You've come back up again. You've weakened it. All this stuff is looking to break out at some point. Bitcoin volatility trending up again. Since the lows in September, we see it painting higher lows, having more of a bias towards the upside of volatility. Ethereum. Ooh, Ethereum Bitcoin may still fill. Ooh, that's actually pretty ugly. Alts took a little bit of a beating here. Silver right at all-time highs. Right at all-time highs. Or wait, did it break all-time highs? No. So close. So close. Wow. Did this move? I feel like this moved. Wait, 983. Almost. So close. You can do it, Silver. Silver is going to do it. What do we got? Copper up at 1,000 still. Casp, I'll come back to when you're exciting. Bitcoin Cash, same for you. Doge. Just doging. Close the minutes window? Yeah. Well, we're almost done. Let me do the last part of that. Make it a little smaller. There we go. Doge will come back to you too. Yeah, that makes sense. Uh-oh, Bitcoin's swerving our entry. Let's finish up the minutes. Let's finish it up. Looking at the lows, speculating. Sonic, Jasmine, File. There's a lot of coins that are down that have room for upside, I'd agree. Ed, we can look at Nano then. Let me finish this. Theta. Ooh, there's a name I haven't heard. Arweave. Alright, we'll look at some of those. We'll look at some of these quieter charts here. But let me finish. So we have pretty much the last section of the minutes. And this is the participants' views on the current conditions and economic outlook. Inflation has risen since the start of 25, remains above the 2% target. Tariff increases this year exerted upward pressure, though effects were muted relative to earlier expectations. That's a very good dovish sign. Some noted productivity gains may be easing pressures. A couple suggested inflation would never, or would near target. Wow. I need to make this bigger. Here we go. Just lost my place, son of a bitch. Some noted productivity gains may be easing pressures. So a couple suggested inflation would be near target, excluding tariffs. That sentence doesn't make sense, ChatGPT. A few emphasized, okay, they mean, I get it now. They're talking, when they say a couple or a few, they mean the participants. Emphasized stalled progress towards a 2% target, even when excluding tariffs. It's interesting. Inflation outlook and risks expected to remain elevated short term, but gradually return to the 2% target with policy. Businesses may raise prices due to tariff-related input costs. Effects likely realized by the end of 26. Labor market not seen as inflationary. Reduced net migration and productivity gains could lower demand and pressures. Long-term inflation expectations remained well anchored. The majority of participants saw upside risks, persistent inflation, uncertainties, potential unanchoring of expectations. Some noted reduced risks versus earlier in the year. Job market gains slowed. Unemployment edged up but remains low. It's weird. Unemployment's a weird metric. Slowdown reflects declines in labor supply, low immigration, participation changes, and demand. Moderate growth, uncertainty affecting hiring. Other indicators: unemployment rate, vacancies, unemployment ratio, job growth, etc. show no sharp deterioration. Recent data and revisions suggest softening has been underway longer than previously thought. Outlook and risks to the labor market expected to stabilize or soften moderately. Monthly job gains for stable unemployment declined. High uncertainty, though, downside risks to unemployment increased. Low hiring, sector concentrated gains, rises in cyclical sensitive groups. AI adoption, reducing demand. declining household sentiment. Economic activity growth slowed in the first half of 25 versus 24. Household lower consumption contributed to slow down some recent firming, with greater price sensitivity, high-income households faring better than low-income. Housing continued weakness, potential for sharper deterioration. Businesses strong high-tech investment, supportive financial conditions. Agriculture facing headwinds from low prices and high costs. Economic activity outlook not detailed extensively. Monetary policy considerations. Inflation's elevated, growth is moderated, unemployment low, but rising with slower jobs. Downside unemployment risks are up. Almost all supported a 25 cut, as we know, a few supporting a 50 cut. A few favored holding rates due to stalled inflation progress, but one preferred a 50 cut. Okay, they favored it, but they didn't vote that way. They all agreed to continue balance sheet reduction. Boo. When quantitative easing hasn't even started yet in this cycle. Policy not present, data dependent. Most expect further easing this year. That's very dovish. Current stance seen as restrictive by most, but some measures suggest less so, warranting caution. Balanced approach is needed. Easing too soon risks inflation persistence, delaying risks unnecessarily. While unemployment rises. That's pretty much it. Other than the policy actions. Policy actions are really easy to summarize. I don't need ChatGPT for that. They cut rate from open market operations as necessary to maintain federal funds rate in a target range of 4 to 4.25%. Conduct standing overnight repurchase agreements operations with a minimum bid rate of 2.4%. Conduct standing overnight repurchase agreements. Oh no. At an offering rate of 4% as per counterparty limit, 160 billion per day. Roll over at auction the amount of principal payments from the Federal Reserve's holding. Treasury securities maturing in each calendar month exceeds a cap of 5 billion per month. Redeemed Treasury coupon security as a monthly cap. Man, I'm running out of steam for this. Holdings, agency debt, calendar month, 35 billion cap. Nothing changed there. Cool. I think that's it. I think I am all minutes out. All minutes out. Too many minutes. Especially because Powell's going to speak tomorrow. He's going to speak tomorrow, and it's going to just be so much more important anyway. We had a few subscribers while I was ranting and rhyming. What's up, the slow-mo videos? How you doing, brother? Probably not even here anymore. Linus, how are you? Dan Vosters, Cam Shaft, Mike Who Done It. I missed a bunch of people. If you subscribe today and I missed you, say hello in chat. I'll get you. Cut it. That's right. With the terrible September jobs report from ADP, we are guaranteed a cut in October. Well, the minutes did reflect that. The minutes reflected that. The dot plot reflected that long ago. We dojin. Bitcoin chilling out here as it usually does during the live stream. So close to this long entry. I think it's still on the table. Let's go. What's up, Radostein? Ed wants to look at Nano. All right. Only because I feel like we looked at Nano a few months ago, and I think there was something about it I liked. And when I say a few months ago, I have not opened this chart since 2023. The like button is not transitory. It must be smashed. I like that, man. I like that. Appreciate you. Holy ugly. Holy ugly. Well, to be fair, it does have higher highs here. The lows have held. I mean, this isn't in an uptrend in the same way Doge is in an uptrend. Actually, I would say remarkably similar, this part of the chart, to Doge. Now, the highs are probably higher on Doge relative, but you fall from 2021, you're low, your lows held, your highs came up, your lows held barely. To me, that means I think there's trades to be made, right? This is a little aggressive considering how long this has taken. But I think there's a trade to be made. Looking to hold those lows. If those lows break, you say F this. Can get a pretty nice risk to reward. Now, I don't know what the upper limit really is going to be, but hey, let's just aim for this trend vaguely. $3. That might be aiming too low. 305. Let's do like this, 305. Just to the 0.5 retracement. I like that. That could be too low, right? If we see everything run, maybe you're up here in the 7s, 8s. I will give this to this chart. You have the same setup as some of these very strong charts. We'll look at Doge next. Like, you have the same setup. This just says really that looks like the upside has been muted. Sellers have really kept this suppressed. I think a trade can make sense here. Am I going to take it? Probably not. Probably not. But hey, I don't take all the trades. I probably won't. Looking to stop just below the lows because you are betting on this higher high, higher low structure, this uptrend. If it's broken, then you're out of this trade. Cut the loss. If it doesn't hit, then I think that this is actually pretty elegant. Pretty elegant trade there. Nano. What are you doing, Nano? People were all about it. I remember people being very about this coin in like 2021-ish. Haven't heard a lot about it since. This is still trading on Kraken? Maybe I will take this trade. If it's on Kraken, that makes it a lot easier for me. Good luck. Chirpow tomorrow. $3? Sure. Sure. I think that's a... If it gets to $3, I feel as if, you know, you probably can aim higher, but just as a trade looking at it, I think that that's reasonable. The Doge, man. So this is what I was talking about. This looks a lot like Doge. If you were to cut out, you know, the rest of the history here. Maybe you guys are seeing what I'm saying. Maybe not. I said it looks a lot like Doge, but it doesn't have... The upsides have been more muted, right? So Doge is more like this right now, where this is like kind of just barely off the low. But you see what I'm saying? It's held the low. Of course, I like this chart better. I'd rather take this trade. It's held the lows the same way. It's hard to see, but it has held the lows as the highs have come up. It's the same setup. You could argue that it's not as bullish. I'd probably agree with you, but same setup there. The favor I would give to Nano here is it's very close to its lows. Your stop could be very close to the entry. You can limit the downside risk that way. Your upside might not be as great as Doge. I think Doge is going to break its all-time high in this cycle, probably by the end of the year. Nano, I don't know, probably not. I don't know if it's going to trade to $17 again. It'd be awesome if it did. But I think there's a trade there. Not my favorite, but I think there is. Doge is on deck. Doge looking just sexy as it has looked the entire time. This is just... There's like never an update for this because it just continues to do this sexy dance. Just keeps going. Just keeps putting in higher highs. Keeps putting in higher lows. Inching up. Inching up. Sellers cannot keep it down. It's just biding its time. What's cool about this is back to the all-time high, I think, is still 3x. Yeah, 2x would be 50, 3x would be 75. Still 3x on Doge back to the all-time high. I think it can go higher. I think it goes higher than 75 cents. BTC is holding higher from here. PAXG, BTC, we can look at it. Just, it's like, to me, the Doge is just like Litecoin. It's like, this looks so strong, but to guess when it's gonna break out, you should, any time would have made sense in this entire consolidation phase. It just shown so much strength, and I would argue that's the same as Litecoin. Litecoin showed so much strength, and that same idea of these lows keep coming up. Technically, the highs have come up as well. Like, sellers are not winning this battle, but it's just in slow motion. Like, it's just taken forever. But when it breaks out, I think it's going to be very strong. Litecoin and Doge merge mind. They are brothers and sisters here on the script algorithm. I would imagine they both kind of break out at the same time. Doing the same thing. Doing it all. PAXG. PAXG. Bitcoin versus gold. Bitcoin showing some strength, selling off today as gold hits new all-time highs. These do seem to be kind of taking turns pumping. Very polite of them to allow each other. Does not look strong. Weakest crypto there is. If you think so, Mikey, you think so. I mean, I've been told, you know, been told that about Doge in the past. I sleep pretty good at night about it. I could go into it further, but no, dude, there are so many charts that are way weaker than this. This is held lows, bro. There, like, let's just look at 𝐬𝐸𝐾. 𝐬𝐸𝐾, it only looks good now because it pumped, but 𝐬𝐸𝐾 looked way weaker. This is what I'm comparing to. Macro chart. Look at this. Really kind of the same time frame here, but you put in a new low every cycle. You put in a lower high every cycle. Litecoin put in higher lows every cycle. Its highs, it retested its high in the last cycle. Welcome. I'm not telling anybody to buy Litecoin. No, that's not what I'm here for. I'm just telling you what I see on the charts. That's just what I see. Bitcoin versus gold. Where did this go? Taking turns. Oh yeah. No, actually, wait. This means because inverted. Invert it. So when it goes up, Bitcoin's gaining strength. When it goes down, Bitcoin's losing strength against gold. So actually, it was at its high on October 5th. They're down at a low. Kind of looks honestly like reversal. On this daily, what do we got? You got to invert this too. That's confusing. Maybe we should just do Bitcoin divided by gold. It should be the same chart. Should be. There we go. There we go. I got some bully div on the day. There you go. Lower low in price, higher low in RSI. Higher low on your momentum down here. Does not look super great in the short term though. Double top, heading back down. Really need to see this low hold. Paint that neckline retest. That'd be beautiful. Weekly getting there. Slowly. Gold is a toughie, man. Bitcoin actually put in its all-time high against gold in December of last year. Since then, it's struggled as gold has had just the craziest rally. Truly like a crypto rally. I don't think it's done. God, we're gonna be live again at 8:30 in the morning tomorrow. The things I do for you. The things I do for you. I'm gonna shave so I stop scratching my beard. Zcash up MNT Mantle. Not really familiar with Mantle. What is that? Nobody's talking about it. Somehow it's on this chart. Don't know why. Don't know why, don't know how it's on this chart. Dang. This is actually interesting. Let's make a chart for it. I liked what I saw there. Mantle. Go. This is the second biggest gainer over the last 24 hours. Looks like it's Zcash then this. Ooh. Okay. This reminds me of Pepe a long time ago. It's like tight consolidation breakout. It's already an $8 billion market cap though. That's pretty high. For example, that's 3 times 𝐬𝐸𝐾 right now. If this was like, I don't know, like $1 billion or under $1 billion, I'd be pretty stoked on that. But where do you reasonably go? You know, like maybe you can hit $5, 16 billion. Like that's pretty limiting. It's a big market cap. 31, 150. I like 150. It's just up. Just up. That is beast. Look at that RSI. Beautiful. Boom, 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 boom. Coming up. Staying above 50. Yeah. I feel like this is really high risk to jump into. Maybe like 250 for the least patient of any of us. Yeah, like no patience, like 250. I don't even want to look at it. I don't even want it. I haven't heard anyone talk about this. Have you guys heard people talk about this yet? It's weird. MNT is Bybit's coin. Okay. What is it? Like, coin of what? Is it their exchange coin? Or is it just like a coin? Bankcoin was right. Stupid to hold altcoins versus Bitcoin. You've lost money because it's their same. Same. But that certainly wasn't consensus many years ago. You know, like, we can see these things in hindsight. We can see these now. Dominance has just not given up. Mint is layer 2 made for stablecoin creation. Okay. MNT serves layer dust. This is not for me. This is not for me. Chart's pretty cool though. Like I said, this is something in 2021 that I saw, like this kind of vibe on Pepe. I remember seeing this and like buying it here. And that was before it just went like crazy, you know, like it just went like up here in the chart. But it certainly wasn't at a almost $10 billion market cap here. Could it keep going? Sure. And if it does keep going, I mean, we can use the fib tool. We can look at where we would probably logically look here. $3 at 618. It's pretty close to price. And 745, just under 5. Good targets. Market saver blocks the view. What? How's that possible? The coin's right here. Mantle sponsors channels. Well, why don't they sponsor me, Mantle? Give me some money. 1 minute before FOMC. Death mood. Yeah, the FOMC is a few weeks away. Here we go. Looking at that long. It's 5-1. Let's bring this down a little bit. Maybe like a 2 to 1. I should just do 1-to-1s all the time. Just like that. Let's do. Like 2. FOMC is actually, when is it? Is it next week or is it the 22nd? I should know. But Chairman Powell speaks tomorrow. October Federal Emergency Committee. October 28th to 29th, so it's the last? Wow. It's the last Wednesday, so it's not next week or the week after. It's the week after that. Core? What's core? Core. Clash coin. You guys have asked about Clash every stream. Can I get riots? King Degen. Dot. What else we got? Zagman. Ooh, XPL? Oh, no, that was probably a little bit ago. I'm gonna be a trade on that. Oh wow, look at that. Look at that entry. Traded to $1 and back down. Wow. That's not great. I no longer like this trade after that. That was still fire though. We caught that. We bottom sniped that. 22% up. Gonna be live tomorrow at 8:30 in the morning. It's okay. don't love that now. This was looking really solid. That's retested 4.5 cents 3 times. Lows have come down. Highs have come down. I mean, my true opinion, you guys know. You know my true opinion. Really, it has charted. Very pretty. 2, 1.8. It's charted. I mean, this support tested. Highs coming down. Ravencoin, I know Ravencoin, Kyle. Used to love, but Ravencoin used to be up there on my list. When Jerome Powell speak? 8:30 in the morning tomorrow. So like 12, 17 hours from now. 1 inch. I haven't looked at 1 inch in a while. 2023. Oof. Ooh. Oh God. Oh God. 99% down against Bitcoin. Whew. Not even just Bitcoin, against the dollar even. 90, bro. Yeesh. I remember people are stoked about this too. Just like something everyone needs to reflect on is nothing really to do with 1 inch, but just in general. So many of these coins that were just so hyped and people had so much, belief in, and in the previous cycle, they've just done nothing and they've only gone down. The same thing will happen this cycle. There'll be coins where I have the same feeling. It'll be so much hype and it's like, oh, this is changed everything and it's doing so many things. And like, it's just gonna end up looking like this. I wouldn't mess around with this. I think it's probably due for some kind of upside, right? Probably do. It looks like it's holding this high. Like, I don't know. It's like if this rallies meaningfully, right? Breaks 57 cents. This rallies meaningfully, goes like 300%. Everything else has probably gone so much farther. Like so much farther. The only way you could approach this is like longing like right here, with your stop at like these lows and then aiming for 57 cents, right? You can do something like that. You're catching a knife. Or you can look at the all-time low, say, I think it's going to break it again, and take almost that same trade. Like, I don't like either of these trades though. This doesn't give me any confidence. April 25. It does look like it's slowed down. Yeah, good luck. I have bags like this, don't worry. You're not alone. Caspa is not doing anything. 1 inch ancient technology. XDC. Good shot. By the way, guys, if you're trading any of this, go ahead and trade on BYDFi, our exchange partner. You'll get a pretty big, sizable bonus on your first deposit, no KYC, and you'll get me. You'll get me. If you ever have any issues with them, you come to me and I will settle it. That's right. Let's see. It looks like we looked at this weeks ago and it's doing kind of what we thought. Nothing has really happened. Money flow on the week is coming up, actually. That's interesting. On the day, not quite as hopeful, but maybe rolling over slowly. RSI under 50. No change. No change. Arrow. Man, I should have gotten out of that long. I'm still up, but I should get out of that. I don't like that. Where are we? Where are we? Ooh, did we fill? Did we get snaked? Look at that. This probably would have filled on other exchanges. 0.01%. It may still fill. Hourly closed. All right. All right. All right. I think I know what we're going to do here, boys and girls. We are going to be live at 8:30 in the morning tomorrow. I know, it's crazy. Sure, Powell will be speaking live, and honestly, I don't know what he's going to, like, I can speculate. We've speculated during the episode what he will be speaking on. I don't know. Might do a little research after this, but we'll be live early in the morning. Make sure you have your notifications on. Make sure you're subscribed. Join us, because it's going to be spicy. It's absolutely going to be spicy. No doubt. We covered the FOMC minutes today. They were pretty good, but tomorrow I think is going to be the real thing not to miss. You'll be redirected there after the live. Make sure you've subscribed, liked, joined the Discord, discord.gg/TomCrown. There we go. It actually filled. Maybe we're getting stopped now. There we go. Bitcoin was like, wait a minute. Don't you go anywhere. But we still are, even though I love you. We're going to be live at 8:30. You can see the vote here. You voted for it, so now we're going to do it. 1,250 votes, 75% for yes. That's a lot of yeses. That's a whole lot of yeses. I will see you then. Gold did a rug. What? Gold? No. I mean, that's a pretty scary candle, but gold has also just been up. If anything, I would long that as opposed to sell. But we'll catch you tomorrow. Be here. Thanks for tuning in. Crown out.